what it comes down to is being consistent for your children. You got to be an example and a positive presence in their life, even when they're pushing back at you, even if they don't want to read the book or they don't want to do what you want them to do. Being consistent and talking to them about why these things are important is so key. And I think like the old school traditional way was like parents didn't really talk to their kids like they were smart or intelligent. But kids are fucking smart. Number one, they watch everything that you're doing. And number two, if you explain things to them and you talk to them about why martial arts helps or why reading helps or why phones are bad or why picking your friends and the right friends is important, and you're consistent with it, even sometimes when it feels like you're talking to a brick wall, they're listening and you're planting seeds. Welcome back to another episode of the Unstoppable Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Crane. Thank you for tuning in. Now, I got a special episode today for those of you who are parents out there, for those of you who have children, whether they're your biological children or not. I'm going to talk today about what it's like to be a stepdad. So make sure to save this episode, send it to somebody you know who maybe is a parent, being a stepdad, stepmom. Maybe they've had struggles with their own biological children as they grow up. Teenagers, right? I'm going to talk about my son Mason, who's 14. Technically, I'm his stepdad, but I don't look at it that way. Now, I came into Mason's life when he was about 7, and at that time, he didn't really have a father figure present. And I looked at it as an honor to become a father that quick because I wanted nothing more than to be a dad, to have a family, and to be able to do the right thing for my family, to be the right man, the right example, and to live a beautiful life together. Like when I was in prison, that's all I prayed for over and over and over is the opportunity to build a beautiful family. And God has blessed me a billion times over, right? And becoming a stepdad, that's not something I talk about a lot because I don't even like that term. Like I said, I look at Mason as just one of my children, but it's challenging. Okay, it's challenging because I'm not Mason's dad, and he has a dad that's in the picture. And you know, there's something there when it comes to having loyalty, right? And I try to look at this from Mason's perspective. Like I felt at certain times I couldn't parent him the way that I wanted to, or he couldn't fully just, have a relationship with me because part of him like knows I'm not his dad, right? But we have a good relationship, and I feel like it's only going to get better from this moment forward. But what I want to talk about is like how to be a good dad regardless of if it's your stepson or your biological son, right? Especially when it comes to those teenage years. Like we're going through those teenage years right now, me and Jessica with Mason, and there's been some ups and downs and some challenges. And so I got Mason into Krav Maga, which is martial arts, and I like it because they teach him about honor, respect, courtesy, perseverance, all these things that I speak about and represent. And it gets him moving his body. In a world now where kids are always on their devices, and there's a lot of toxicity out there on YouTube and all these things that they watch. I want to raise children who are active. I want to raise children who are not dependent on screens. Like I want to raise children who are put in an arena every day where they can develop confidence in themselves, discipline, and really like push themselves. And that's what sports and especially martial arts provides an opportunity to do. So Mason's been going to Krav Maga for the past year, and he'll fight me on it. He doesn't want to go. And, we limit screen time at home, and I try to get him to read more books, and I've even given him certain books. He's read The Alchemist. He read my personal book. What other books? Think and Grow Rich, a little bit of that. As a Man Thinketh. I'm always trying to plant these seeds for him. And this is the main message I want to share with you guys today. Like, take away the fact that Mason's my stepson. Take away the fact that, like, any of that stuff, any of the drama or any of the stuff that happens in those types of situations sometimes. What it comes down to is being consistent for your children. You got to be an example and a positive presence in their life, even when they're pushing back at you, even if they don't want to read the book or they don't want to do what you want them to do. Being consistent and talking to them about why these things are important is so key. And I think like the old school traditional way was like parents didn't really talk to their kids like they were smart or intelligent. But kids are fucking smart. Number one, they watch everything that you're doing. And number two, if you explain things to them and you talk to them about why martial arts helps or why reading helps or why phones are bad or why picking your friends and the right friends is important, and you're consistent with it, even sometimes when it feels like you're talking to a brick wall, they're listening and you're planting seeds. And so, prior to recently, like mine and Mason's relationship has been different than when he was little. When I first came into his life around 7, 8, and 9, we were really connected and bonded, and we spent a lot of time together. And then as he started getting a little older, I don't know if he just felt bad about having a relationship with me. My wife Jessica went through a little custody battle, so it brought on some tension and some drama into the household. But that relationship between me and Mason has been strained. And to be honest with you, it broke my heart a little bit. But I wanted to look at it from his perspective and empathize with him versus like making it about me. So just keep showing up, Sean. I'll tell myself, keep showing up, keep showing up. And I tell my wife that all the time, like, keep showing up, keep showing up. We got to just be that constant, like, steady example in life about everything that's right and show them the right way and teach them. And the coolest thing happened yesterday. I took him to Krav Maga, and he was in a good mood. We were just talking on the way there, and he was like asking me certain questions and opening up to me. And I see some maturity in him. He's 14 now, And so we were laughing and joking, me, him, and Preston on the way to Krav Maga. And we just had this really good moment together. And then we went to Krav Maga, and I'm watching him, and all the kids were sparring, and they were doing their thing. And then their professor said, hey, go get a drink. Everyone take a break. And all the kids ran over, and Mason grabbed all the pads that the kids were striking, picked them up one by one, and went and put them away. And I was watching him. And he came over to me. I said, hey, did your professor tell you to do that? And he's like, no, I just did it. I was like, why'd you do that? He's like, well, everyone ran off the mat. I wanted to put the stuff away. I said, dude, I love that right there. You see that? I said, that's everything that I've been trying to teach you about doing the right thing, going above and beyond, like just being a good person. Kids tend to cut corners, right? They tend to half-ass things. I'll ask them to take out the trash, and I go out there and the dumpster's not put back, or the trash can's tipped over, it's left open where the birds can come and eat the trash. And I'll send him back out there. I'll be like, Mason, if you're going to do something, just do it right the first time. Then you don't have to go back out, right? And I'm always like trying to teach him these things. And sometimes I feel like he's just ignoring me, or he doesn't get it, or he doesn't want to get it. But then seeing him put the pads away yesterday, for me as a parent, like that was a big deal. I even told my wife about it. I texted her, and I was like, dude, I'm so proud of you. Like, look I always teach you when you come into this room here at Krav Maga, like shake your professor's hand, look him in the eyes. Like when you talk, like enunciate your words right, like show that you care with your effort while you're here and go above and beyond. And it was so cool to see him do that, because what it told me is he's listening, he's paying attention. He gets what I'm saying. Even if he's not ready to implement it right away when I teach him or demonstrate it, like those messages are starting to sink in. Now, the other component of that is I got to lead by example. If I tell him to do something, I better fucking do it too. Around the house, if I'm lazy and throwing my laundry everywhere, if I'm being a jerk to my wife and not helping out, not doing the dishes, leaving a mess in the sink, like why would he listen to me? But he sees the way I live. He knows I'm up early. He knows I'm taking care of my health and I'm working out. He sees how hard I work to provide for our family. Like he knows, he's seen it from the beginning. And so I've always wanted to be a constant positive presence in his life. And I'm always sharing things that happened to me in the past and how I learned these lessons and why they're important over and over and over. And not trying to sound like a broken record, but I do it in a way where I demonstrate that I love and care about him. And I know he feels that. Even though I have the role of stepdad, and some of you might be hearing this going, dude, like being a stepdad's not that bad. No, it's different though. Like there's been times where Mason got in trouble at school or something was going on. He was just going through some emotional stuff. And I told my wife, like, if it was up to me, I would just take him camping for 2 weeks and get away from society and phones and just spend time out in nature. We'd go hike a mountain together and jump in a river and just be a little wild, But like because of scheduling and stuff like that, and I can't do that. So I felt restricted to an extent. It's frustrating because I just want the best for him. I want him to have an amazing life and to have all the opportunity that other kids get and to feel confident in himself to go out and achieve a great life, And so this brings me back to my last point. After Krav Maga, we were driving home, and we stopped and got dinner for the family. And he and I were just talking, and I was talking to him about, kind of preparing for the future and what does he want to do with his life, and that he could do anything, and you don't got to settle. You don't got to go get some 9 to 5, and you can have an amazing life. You can, create wealth. You can, have opportunity. You can do all these different things. And I'm always teaching him about why reading books is important and why starting now is important. And he looked over at me, he goes, hey, like, what should I do when I get older for work? Like, I don't want to work just a regular 9 to 5, man. I don't want to, like, be broke. Like, I want more out of life, And it was the coolest thing he voluntarily asked me that. And because I've always talked to him about this in the past and tried to plant seeds, right? Like, a lot of people don't realize, but they're preparing their kids to be factory workers. Like, go to college, like, get that 9 to 5, get your security, like, get your salary. Like, fuck that. That's a dead end. I want my kids to grow up in a world where there's no limitations and they can build businesses and travel and just like, dude, achieve the ultimate life and make so much money. They could give it all away if they want. I don't care, but no limitations, right? And so I said, hey, Mason, the fact that you are thinking about this now and asked me, you're already ahead of most people. And I told him, look, at the things that I'm teaching you about respect and discipline and doing things right the first time, shaking your professor's hand and looking him in the eyes, putting those mats away, I said, that is the foundation of success. I said, if you continue to demonstrate to me that you're understanding what I'm saying and you're implementing it, you're showing me and you're trying, you're putting forth effort, when the time comes, I'm going to set you up for success. I'm going to introduce you to people that can teach you about real estate, right? Or I'm going to take you to these events I speak at and introduce you to some of these business owners that I coach or entrepreneurs that I built relationships with. I said, I'll get you in the rooms, man, where you can learn from people. You can have so much opportunity. I said, regardless of what you do in your life, I'm always going to be there for you and take care of you. But I made a joke. I said, I ain't going to pay your fucking bills when you're older, right? So I'm going to teach you this stuff now. And he laughed. And he goes, yeah, I just want to figure out like what to do. And I said, the fact that you're thinking about that now is a positive thing. Let's work on building your discipline, your confidence. Let's work on emotional control and your attitude. He's only 14, right? But this is when kids have trouble controlling their emotions and they're all over the place. I said, if you can demonstrate that you're trying in those areas right now, dude, I'm gonna set you up for success. There's no doubt in my mind that you'll be successful. And in the past, he's asked me about real estate. He was asking me about sales, and he sees the life I've built. You know, he's seen me come from just getting out of prison and starting to develop a relationship with Jessica, my wife, and then us building a family and going from that little apartment to another apartment to our first home to now the home we live in now. He's seen it. He's been with me every step of the way. So the message here is talk to your children about what's important. Be the constant example in their lives, okay? And have those moments where you can really connect to them because they're smart. And they're always going through a lot. We don't know what they're thinking and what they're feeling internally, but the closer that you get to them and the more of a bond that you have together, they're going to open up and share stuff with you. And Mason shared a lot with me in his life so far about things he's gone through emotionally, thoughts that he's had and stuff, and that's because I've been available for him. And I've been there, and I talk to them, and I always check in, ask him how he's doing. 9 out of 10 times he might say, I'm fine, I'm good, right? He's a teenager, but that one time he opens up, and we have a really, special moment where there's a breakthrough. So I just want to share that with you guys. That's like a little personal look in my life and my relationship with Mason at this point. I don't talk about it a lot for certain reasons, but I hope that you took something from this message, whether you have children, whether you want to have children. You can apply this to relationships with brothers, sisters, friends, spouses, right? Or you have a stepson like I do. And sometimes it's challenging, but it's so rewarding as well. And a lot of things in life that are really rewarding and valuable and meaningful, they come at the cost of a lot of struggle and adversity. And it makes them all that much more special. So hope you guys like this message. Let me know what you think and share it with somebody that needs to hear it.